Alright, Steam Summer Sale 2024 video number 3. Games under $5. So initially I thought I'll put all the games under 5 that looked interesting. However, there were too many. So I've made this into between 3 and 5. So I may make a separate one for under 3. Let me know if you want to see that. Probably not immediately after this, but I will do that eventually. So starting with Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I know I mentioned this game a lot, so let's get it out of the way first. Amazing game, stunning audio, intense gameplay. Yeah, I really like it, so I mention it every time, and it's ridiculously cheap as well. Regional price is amazing. So 90% off, $299, 72 rupees only. $249 in the UK, to $329 in Canada, 3 in the Eurozone. Graveyard Keeper, another one I like, similar to Stardew Valley, but with more dark humor. Instead of a farm, you have a graveyard, and you have talking donkey, you have a talking skull, and interesting characters in the village. But you have to do a lot of things as the Graveyard Keeper. Involves a lot of upgrading the church, the graveyard, making better gravestones, things like that. Also fishing is there, as you can see. So I really like it. I like this game. I've put in a lot of hours. Happily recommend this one. 80% off. I think this might be a new store. No, it is equal to its previous store. So 80% off, $4, 176 in India, $335 in the UK, $519 in Canada, and $390 in the Eurozone. There are a few more extra DLCs. So you have Stranger Sins, Game of Crown, Better Save Soul. These are sort of integrated within the main story. So even if you do buy them, these are not the expansions where you have to finish the main game and then you can progress on the others. They are kind of in the story, and it'll help with explaining some of the story. So pretty good game. I really like it. Next we have Need for Speed Payback. So these games often tend to be on sale, so I thought I'll drop one of these in. I still have a soft spot for these, even though they're not what they used to be back in the day, because I played with the early ones like Need for Speed 2, Need for Speed 3, those sort of games in the late 90s. So I still like to try them every now and then whenever they're cheap, and they are very cheap. So this one is from 2017, deluxe edition, 90% off, $3 only, $149 in India, $249 in the UK, 4 in Canada, 3 in the Eurozone. As I mentioned in my previous video, Forza Horizon 4 is getting delisted. So these games don't have a very long shelf life, even though I've noticed the EA games tend to stick around a little longer. This one is from 2017, it's still here. The previous one is also here. With the Forza games, they tend to run out of steam in like six years or so. I mean the license. So they have fewer cars in Need for Speed games, so maybe that's why they can stretch out the life of these games a bit more. So whatever the reason why it's available, and it's very cheap. Next is a game called Oxygen. Now, not a very creative name, let's be honest here, but it is about oxygen in this game. It's a strategy city builder. You could call it a very lightweight version of Frostpunk. What I liked about this game was that if you are not somebody like me who plays a lot of the strategy games, this is a very good starter strategy, survival, city builder type game. Like if you haven't played those intense, difficult games, this is a good way to get started. It's not difficult, has a simple goal, and you may get into it, you may like it. I don't know if they have a demo, because they did have a separate demo for this. I think it's called Oxygen First Breath. That's the demo. It's like a separate Steam page. You can try that out. If you end up liking it, you can give this a try. It's a recent game, came out last year, and it's not expensive, as you can see. So $299, $138 in India, $255 in the UK, $329 in Canada, $295 in the Eurozone. Next we have Dread Templar. So it's your classic boomer shooter, retro FPS, 2 mod, whatever you want to call it. Looks pretty good, has very good reviews, and is very cheap. $499, $220 in India, $424 in the UK, $649 in Canada, $5 in the Eurozone. Next, another mention for the American Truck Simulator and also the Euro Truck Simulator. So both of these games, the base versions are very, very cheap. Look at the reviews here are overwhelmingly positive, and both of them are 90% off. So you can pick up the base games and then pick out any DLCs that seem interesting. These are simulator games. Don't expect a lot of action and fun. You have to drive your truck seriously across long distances, and take it very seriously, the job of driving a truck and delivering stuff. You can pick out states. This is the American version, so you'll have your American states and trucks and things like that. European one has obviously European maps and things. So yeah, people who like these games, they love it. And if you're not into these games, yeah, this might seem a bit boring. Next, we have Batman Arkham Knight. So these games are frequently on sale, but this time Arkham Knight has dropped to a new low. 90% off, $199, $189 in India. It's actually more expensive in India than in the US. $159 in the UK, $299 in Canada, $199 in the Eurozone. And also the collection is slightly more expensive now. For the first time, the price is sensible, let's say, because previously the base game used to be a lot more expensive than the entire collection. Now it is at least more as far as the collection is concerned. But yeah, if you don't have the previous Batman Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, get the collection because you'll get everything. Next, we have Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition. So I mentioned this one before the Steam Summer Sale. They had started their sale and they've kept the same price. And somehow within this period, it's got mixed reviews because the reviews were very positive, if I recall, before the summer sale. So I'm guessing people did not like it, but it is very cheap. It's the Ultimate Edition, which has all the content. It says here 9 content packs, $3, $179 in India, $249 in the UK, 4 in Canada, 3 in the Eurozone. Maybe I should have named this video as a 90% off video, or maybe I'll make another one because most of the games are 90% off. Next up is one of my favorite series, of course, it's the ANNO series. I feel like this ANNO 1404 History Edition is just the right mix between the classic stuff and the modern stuff. So it's in the year 1404. History Edition is basically a remastered version from Ubisoft where they have got widescreen support and things like that. This is from the late 2000s. So originally game came out in 2008. 2020 is when they remastered it. Very beautiful. It did get a bit complex starting from this one, but it's still a very nice looking game. So 70% off, usual price, $224 in India, $449 in the US, $374 in the UK, $599 in Canada, $449 in the Eurozone. Next is Battlefield 4, another game with a massive sale. EA games after a while tend to be heavily discounted, so this one is 93% off. Wow. $279, $174 in India, $244 in the UK, $384 in Canada, $279 in the Eurozone. It's also the premium edition. Not many people playing the multiplayer, but it does have a single player component. Next is Battlefield 1, also heavily discounted, more people playing though. So you could actually have a lobby in multiplayer. This is set in World War I. It has like 5 stories in the campaign from 5 different people. I have actually played this one. I like the campaign. 93% again, $279, $174 in India, $244 in the UK, $384 in Canada, $279 in the Eurozone. So at least it has single player, and also people seem to be playing the multiplayer. Resident Evil 4 from 2005 is the next game. This is the original game. I recently bought the new one remake and played the hell out of it. I really liked it. I've also bought this one because I want to go back and compare the two. But it looks pretty good, and this is from a period where I'm okay graphically. Like, these games don't look too dated graphics wise. I mean, not the best looking thing, but still it's manageable for someone like me because I'm old. I've played games from this period. So yeah, you could pick this up. Overwhelmingly positive, and it's the recent reviews that are overwhelmingly positive. So 75% off. Usual price is always the same price. $499, $299 in India, $374 in the UK, $5 in Canada, $5 in the Eurozone. Next we have Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. So I think this is the latest game. So we had Sniper Ghost Warrior 2, Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 as well. I think then we had Ghost Warrior Contracts and then Contracts 2. From 2021 is you could say another series of sniper games like the Sniper Elite games. And the newer ones are a bit better. You can see 82% positive reviews. And it is not expensive at all. So the base version is 88%, $479, $239 in India, $419, $6 in Canada, $479 in the Eurozone. There's a complete version with a lot of stuff here, so I would stick with the base game. Next we have World. So another game I wanted to play, and this, I've played the game Dome Keeper, and this is kind of similar. but instead of like digging down, you have to climb up a wall and dig and then fight off enemies. Has good reviews, as you can see, 89%. Now the reason why I say I haven't bought it is because this will be free from Prime next week. Now Prime doesn't give away games for Steam, so my guess is it might be for GOG, maybe for Epic, could be for the Amazon launcher. So either way, I'm happy with whatever it is. But if you wanted this for Steam, it is very cheap, 50% off. It's a cheap game to begin with. So $349, $172 in India, $294 in the UK, $449 in Canada, $344 in the Eurozone. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So another EA game, very cheap now. This game was well received, did not have any issues. The sequel has had some problems with performance, but I've not heard anything bad about this one. And this is again 90% off. So $4, $219 in India, $349 in the UK, $549 in Canada, and $4 in the Eurozone. Chorus, another game I frequently mention. This is your space combat flight style game. I would love to play this with one of those joysticks, but you can't play it with the normal controller as well. And yeah, very positive reviews. Once again, has had a recent price increase regionally, but still not too bad. So $499 in the US, $280 in India, $439 in the UK, $689 in Canada, $499 in the Eurozone. Far Cry New Dawn. Now these games often come in bundle, Far Cry 5 and New Dawn, but on its own this is on a new low, and yeah, it's a bit more colorful spin-off version of the Far Cry games. So this is 90% off, $399 in the US, $224 in India, $379 in the UK, $499 in Canada, $449 in the Eurozone. I was thinking of not mentioning Ubisoft games, but I thought it might be unfair on the older games because, okay, new stuff is a bit ridiculous price-wise, but old games, I have played them, they are decent. Another mention for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The base game is on a new highest discount. Once again, overwhelmingly positive. You all know it. 700,000 people have rated this game. 90%. This is the biggest percentage discount. Not necessarily the biggest price because it was cheaper when the price was lower. So anyway, it's still very cheap, and the game is still so good that it is definitely worth it. And especially now because they have released a separate free modding tool called the Red Kit, which you can use and make your own mods, make your own quests and stuff like that. You have a lot of flexibility. In fact, they even put up tutorials every few days. I think they've had like a dozen tutorials recently. Now I don't have the time and I don't really know what I would do with modding, but I was curious to see. So yeah, if you let me see if there is the mod kit, Red Kit. So they have dropped it. They have dropped a lot of tutorials for you to figure out how to make mods. So yeah, that would be another way to get value out of this. So anyway, this is 90% off. $4, $169, $249 in the UK, $559 Canada, $3 in the Eurozone. Doom 2016, overwhelmingly positive. Not as many reviews as Witcher 3, but still fantastic. There's a demo, but the base game is very cheap. So 80% off, $4, $319 in India. Look at the price, $319 in the UK, £3.19, $319, $4.99 in Canada, $3.99 in the Eurozone. Black Mesa. So this is a fan-made remake of the first Half-Life game. I often recommend this one as a alternative to the real thing, which was the original game from '98. If it feels too dated, try this version. Almost exactly the same. A few changes here and there, and overall I was very satisfied. I really liked it. And this is 80% off, $4, $176 in India, $335 in the UK, $519 in Canada, $319 in the Eurozone. They're also working on the 2 expansions for Half-Life, Blue Shift and the other one I forgot. What was this? Got the name of the other one. So there were 2 more expansions that came out. So they're working on Blue Shift right now. I think they've done 3 chapters. It has 6 chapters. They've done 3 or 4. So I'm waiting for that to get completed. But it's a small team, takes them a little time. But I'll be waiting to check this out when it's available. Bullets per Minute. This is a rhythm FPS game. Another of my favorite games. I often load this up and play a little bit because it is quite challenging but also very satisfying. So there's a music running in the background. You have to be in sync with the music, otherwise your gun doesn't fire. You can't run. you can't jump, I mean, and you can't reload. So all of it has to be in sync. And the way they do it is you have these things on screen that sort of close, and you have to time it perfectly. You can try looking at it, but if you get in touch with the, I mean, if you use the headphones and try to sync yourself with the music, I suppose it works even better. So if you can do that, it's a procedural game, rogue like, because if you die you have to start all over again, but it is very enjoyable. I've never actually finished this game. I've gotten very, very close to the end, but I refuse to play it on anything other than the hardest difficulty because that is the most fun. Anyway, this is 75% off, $499, $220 in India, $418 in the UK, $649 in Canada, $487 in the Eurozone. And finally, we have Deus Ex Mankind Divided, another stunning game. The first game, Human Revolution, was amazing. First game, I say as in first game with this protagonist. From 2011, I think this was from 2016. Another great game, but how can I put it without spoiling stuff? A bit, let's say, incomplete, and we haven't had another one. So hopefully one day we get more. But it was an amazing game, cyberpunk FPS RPG basically. And yeah, I think the reviews are lower because of that reason. Otherwise, the game is amazing. 85% off, $449, $224 in India. This seems to have gone up. Yes, this has gone up. It used to be much cheaper. $374 in the UK, $584 in Canada, $449 in the Eurozone. So that's a look at games under 5 and over 3. Let me know what else you want to see. I'll probably make this video for under 3 sometime during the sale. Maybe not immediately after this, but I want to try some other ideas and genres first.